Disney Star Wars can't seem to keep itself out of the doghouse recently, and it looks like their plans for a new Rey movie might be off the rails. That didn't stop Daisy Ridley from stepping into another bigot trap with her latest quote on the male fandom. Let's take a peek, shall we? Daisy Ridley was recently in France when asked a very French question. The way some fans greeted Rey was very violent. Did you feel it? No, she answers, and the kicker is, I can't change the way some men see women. Unfortunately, that's how society works. Now, it's an obviously loaded question, and I'm not here to attack Daisy for her past and present quotes on the male fandom. But since she brought it up, I'd like to pose a question. What does Disney Star Wars think of its women? When George Lucas wrote Princess Leia, we saw a strong young woman who was secretly running a rebellion get captured and become a political prisoner, not afraid to sacrifice herself for her cause. Over the course of the trilogy, she grew into a revered leader and successful general, bounty hunter, lover, and at the story's end, presumed heiress to the New Republic. She also had Jedi powers and the most powerful brother in the galaxy. Not bad. But after Disney was done with her, a mere 30 years later in canon, Leia has been turned into a completely failed leader of a republic that, just like her home planet of Alderaan, got blown into smithereens but 5 times over. By the end of Episode 8, she's left with no political allies and no one to turn to when she's in trouble. What's more sinister, though, is what they did to her personally. Leia is now alone. A failed sister, failed wife, and estranged mother to a genocidal maniac who ends up killing his father as he hunts her down to kill what's left of her New Republic. That's as failed as it gets. An iconic female leader dies a complete failure thanks to Disney. 5 feature films and 6 live streaming shows later, Disney Star Wars now has a long history of writing their man-hating, eccentric female characters into mannish, ugly, unlikable jerks and has crashed and burned for it. But they can't stop themselves. Let's check their history. The barefooted Vice Admiral Holdo is an absolutely ridiculous figure as Leia's second in command, complete with condescending, narcissistic traits and a boilerplate, agenda-esque man-hating, eccentric personality. Disney wraps her in a purple ball gown with matching hair and allows her toxic femininity to not only almost erase the resistance from existence, but also cause a mutiny at its most fragile time. All because she could not take the time to girl boss-splain herself to stupid man Poe. Ahsoka goes from an energetic, lucky Padawan to a stoic, droll, and uninteresting character who speaks so slowly I forget what she's talking about. I guess they were trying for wise and mature, but what we got was Spock. She not only bores us, but she looks bored doing it.
I do.
Let's talk about Rey Palpatine. First, they wrap her like a mummy to make sure you can't tell she's a woman and tie her long hair into weird reptilian lumps on her head for the entire trilogy. When we first meet her, she's a blank slate, slaving away on a desert planet, mining the wreckage of a past war for food money. There's a good glimpse of humanity in her when she sees the old lady across from her living the same life, and you feel that she starts realizing she may end up this way. She eventually helps BB-8, was kind of a jerk to him, and she even smiles once. There's a great small moment when she leaves Jakku and flies to Takodana, when she sees more green than she thought possible and felt the rain for the first time. She loosens up a bit and almost has a father-daughter moment with Han, but that door was stone cold shut by the time they met Maz Kanata. And that's pretty much it for character building. She immediately turns into a stoic girl boss, losing more and more of her tiny bit of humanity every time Disney writers made up more God Emperor powers so she could rule the galaxy and be all the Jedi. Even at the end, She asked to steal the Skywalker name and destroy Luke and Leia's legacy once and for all. Rey Skywalker. She's nobody. She earns nothing. She's a nothing character who inherits all the power and all the force for the agenda's sake. She's nobody. I want to make something clear. Aside from Laura Dern, Disney casts beautiful women for their leads, but then runs them through the ugly machine so they fit the twisted standards of the agenda. Then, after that, strips them of all femininity by writing them to act like men, which leaves them with no personalities and erases their individuality and identity as women. Ironic. Kelly Marie Tran turns into a short, fat Asian boy. Natasha Liu Bordizzo turns into a skinny, unlikable Asian boy? Stop Asian hate, Disney. Speaking of Sabine Wren, no chick would sacrifice their life / destroy their galaxy for any simp in their friend zone. It's a ludicrous character arc. Disney's latest failure, The Hell's Tale called The Acolyte, was probably the pinnacle of the agenda, and it failed immediately. Choosing Leslie Headland, Harvey Weinstein's Renfield for a time, was like building a ship with a torpedo in its hull. Everything she sees is through a cataract of weird sexual violence and tension where normally there would be none. It was man-hating, eccentric witches, stupid man Jedi, her effing wife, a homely murderous trinity, and the main character, Osha May. Wait. I just have to say, Amanda Stenberg is legit hot, and they tried so hard to cover it all up, but sometimes you just can't, and you look stupid trying. Amanda looks sexy in a potato sack. It wasn't like this in George Lucas's Star Wars. He wasn't afraid of placing beauty where it needed to be, and it was glorious to watch. Leia's dress in Empire Strikes Back. Ula, Jabba's dancing Twi'lek. Jedi Masters Shak Ti and Aayla Secura. And of course the lovely Padme, when they weren't dressing her like a clown. Even the games were on point with the Twi'leks. Because beauty attracts. Beauty is natural. The purposeful absence of it is noted every time, whether it's part of the story or forced. Again, I don't blame Daisy Ridley or even consider her words offensive. She lives her life in that bubble and she seems like a low-key likable celebrity. But I'd like for her to watch the Disney Star Wars franchise sometime and ask herself why they treat women this way. Why hire Leslie Headland? We don't like Rey because she's Kathleen Kennedy's self-insert, just like every other Star Wars man-hating, eccentric female. Disney can't stop making non-realistic, unlikable girl bosses, and we can't stop laughing at them for it. For an industry built on sex selling, they sure are trying to erase it from the screen and losing a lot of money because of it. The Disney princess is dead. Long live the man-hating, eccentric girl boss. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.